My name is Andrew Chilton. We are, the farm is called Clara in Corrigan Boyle, County Roscommon, so the finest of North County Roscommon land. County Sligo is about 400 metres away, so really up at the top tip. We've been organic here since 2006 when we got the farm, or we put the farm into conversion then, and so full symbol for a long time. We have changed our grazing practices, so this farm would have been what was known as a 6-cow farm. We currently run 6 cows, 2 cows a bull and then the offspring of that, and we have a tiny number of sheep to supplement the mixed grazing. So those numbers, because we're organic, qualifies for the organic farming scheme payments. The latest round of organic farming scheme, the payments are extremely beneficial to farmers. So this holding and the alpaca farm together earn somewhere between 12 and 15,000 euro a year in payments. So that's half an income, which means that my off-farm job only needs to earn the other half of that. So that's how we do that. On top of that, we direct sell, so that means we control the price and there's no middleman. So those are our primary revenue streams. I was very fortunate in 2008 to do the Organic Masters through the Scottish Agricultural College, supported by NOTS, the National Organic Training Skill Net. And on one of my journeys in 2010, we went to a farm that they were way ahead on the agroforestry concept, and they had trees planted in lanes across their vegetables to provide shelter for their vegetables. And I came home and this was what I was going to do. And we didn't have as much financial security then as we do now. And so I planted willow, which was free, just sticking them in. And I excluded the cows for 2 years, and the willows grew beautifully. And then I thought, well, they're big enough now, and let the cows in. And of course, the cows just destroyed them. They go mad for the willow because of its pain relief properties. And so we had to start coming up with different ideas to protect them. So we started protecting trees. They browse the trees, so they're obviously getting mixed nutrients that they need from that. They're a shelter, and they're also a biodiversity habitat. We have, on this farm, we have mink and pine marten, we have grey crow, we've had peregrines in the trees behind. We know there are ravens in the forestry, Sitka spruce forestry, which surrounds the farm. We have a cuckoo every year. Yeah, the trees are they just bring a different aspect. There are places on the farm where you can walk in a storm and it's still, completely protected from the elements. Now it's still wet and it's still damp. They definitely are habitat. Alpacas we're a wool farm as an alpaca farm, and the product that we make from that is organic certified pillows and duvets. So value add, if you sell the raw fleece, you can make a little bit of money, but in terms of real revenue stream, that's not the winner. The winner is adding value. And so we make pillows and duvets, and that's our farm product. They're expensive, they're a luxury product, so most of our product actually goes out of Ireland to Switzerland, Germany, and we've had clients to the Middle East. We've had 2 Japanese customers. So not really focused on an Irish market per se. I mean, if someone from Ireland rings us up and they're willing to pay, they can get the product. But it's certified organic wool through the Global Organic Textile Standard, because there is not an organic wool certification for alpaca in Ireland at the moment. So we're in long-term negotiations with the department about recognize them as livestock, recognize them as a grazing animal, and then we'll have a wool product. But that's a new sector development, and that's slow. I think value is your story, okay? If any of our customers want to come and meet the animals, they're welcome to come and meet the animals. And we've always, that's been a key selling point, the USP. Come and meet the animals. You'll see how we're looking after them. You'll look at the welfare of them. You'll see the ground that they're grazing on. You'll know exactly what you're getting from farm to fork. That's the key win. We do boxes direct to customers, and they get what they want. So we'll packet the steaks however big or thick or thin or you want them, and how many you want in a bag. The lamb chops will do exactly the same. So bespoke. At the alpacas, it's a revenue stream. Okay, we have two whelping products. We do farm visits, so where you meet the alpacas and interact with them and feed them, and then we also offer alpaca trekking. So we run 2 distinct herds. The females are really the breeding herd, so either they're pregnant and lactating and looking after cria, or they're getting ready to do that. And then we have a male herd, and so to keep them active we do alpaca trekking. We use that for two reasons. One, actually the reason we got into that was from a therapy perspective. So they're used more and more now as therapy animals to support people with mental ill health or on the spectrum with challenges like that. And so those are our primary sectors. So we've done some work with the HSE, we work with some of the disability services in Christopherson Longford, and then we're working with Tusla and with some of the child support services for people and children who haven't had the same opportunities as us, as a way to just give them some time out and opportunity to get grounded. 2 years ago, we were fortunate enough to be nominated and selected as ambassadors for Farming for Nature. And the Farming for Nature program has for its ambassadors the opportunity to put ponds in, funded by the Department of Agriculture under the Hare's Corner program. We had ponds before actually, because kind of ponds are an oasis for wildlife. They really are the centerpiece. And so we put our first pond in. This was actually the very first pond that we put in. It was kidney shaped, and I didn't exclude the animals from it. And the cattle did a lot of damage around the banks actually. And so when we extended the pond system and put the lower ponds in, we fenced them out of this altogether. And it's been really transformative in terms of what you get. We get a massive amount of insect life here. And following the insect life, we get bird life and bat life. So in the evenings, if you come down here in midsummer, you get swarms of insects. Okay, and then following that, you get clouds of bats. And then during the day, all the beetles, we got massive amounts of swallows, all the insect eaters. Really amazing to see. So we've been fortunate enough to see dragonflies laying their eggs now. These ponds are only well, this one's in for about 4 years, but those ponds are new. But the life cycle to get the dragonfly larvae coming out, I'm looking forward to that. That'll be something really special to see. Everyone can go organic. There's no doubt in my mind that organic has massive benefits for water quality, for biodiversity, for carbon sequestration. There are no downsides to that. And the very generous organic farming scheme from the Department of Agriculture, you can't lose. As for incorporating trees, if we think back 500 years ago, 70% or 80% or 90% of Ireland was wooded. So it definitely supports trees. Now that competes again with our concept of farming and grassland and beautiful manicured fields, and we have to move away from that. So incorporating trees, definitely a winner. They're habitat, they're carbon sequestration, they help with water quality, they hit all the benefits that we know as people who are thinking about, as stewards for the land, thinking about what we're going to leave our children and grandchildren. We have to leave something. Climate change is a massive threat. Trees will definitely help address that. It may not fix it, but it's certainly one of the pillars that we have to put in place.